The phone buzzed between us on the kitchen counter. Once, then again. She didn't reach for it. That was the first fracture. Not the message, not the timing. The hesitation. Steam curled from the mug in my hands, fogging my glasses, blurring her face just enough to feel unreal. I watched her eyes flick down, then away. A practiced movement. Too smooth. I smiled. Sipped. Waited. The screen lit up again. No name. Just a preview line she hadn't bothered to turn off. Did you tell him yet? My pulse didn't spike. It narrowed. Focused. Like a blade finding its edge. She finally grabbed the phone and turned it face down, fingers trembling for half a second before she caught herself. Then she looked at me. Too quickly. Work? I asked, because that's what husbands do when they still believe in the version of their life that hasn't shattered yet. Yeah, she said, a breath too late. The room felt suddenly staged. The clink of the spoon, the hum of the fridge, every sound exaggerated, like the world had leaned in to listen. I nodded. Calm. Casual. Controlled. Inside, something ancient woke up. Not anger. Calculation. I watched her drink her coffee. Watched the way her throat moved when she swallowed. Watched the woman I married exist perfectly in a moment that was already a lie. The phone buzzed again. She didn't look at it this time. Neither did I. But something between us had already cracked open, and I could feel the cold air rushing in. I didn't confront her. That would have been mercy. Instead, I began collecting silence. Moments where her stories didn't quite align. Late meetings that never showed up on shared calendars. A sudden password on her phone after 8 years of transparency. The way she'd angle the screen away from me in bed, like modesty had arrived overnight. I told myself it was stress. Then told myself I was paranoid. Then stopped lying. The betrayal didn't announce itself dramatically. It seeped in through the seams. A missed kiss. A distracted laugh. A hand that used to find mine automatically, now needing intention. One night, she fell asleep with her phone unlocked. I didn't touch it. That restraint cost me more than any discovery would have. It was proof I was still in control. Proof that when the truth came, it would come because I invited it. She started saying my name differently. Softer. Careful. Like she was testing whether it still belonged to her. And then there was the sentence she didn't finish. I made a mistake, she said one evening, standing at the sink, back to me. I waited. The water ran. She didn't continue. Mistake. Singular. Contained. Something she believed could be folded away if handled delicately. I realized then this wasn't about passion, or love, or even desire. It was about underestimating me, and that was unforgivable. I became a student of patterns. I memorized her routes, her excuses, the rhythm of her lies. I pulled phone records, not to read messages, but to see gaps, silences where conversations had been erased but not forgotten. I watched her reflections more than her face. In mirrors, in windows. The truth shows up there first, distorted, but honest. Externally, I was unchanged, still attentive, still warm. I made dinner, asked about her day, held her while she slept. Inside, I mapped everything. The name appeared accidentally, a slip during a story that didn't require one. She corrected herself too fast. I didn't ask who he was. I already knew. What surprised me wasn't the affair. It was its brevity. A few weeks. A conference. Alcohol and opportunity shaking hands. A single mistake. Contained. That's what she believed. The test arrived 3 weeks later, disguised as routine paperwork. A lab envelope with my name typed neatly across the front. I didn't open it right away. I set it on my desk and went to work. That night, she touched me like she was apologizing without words. I let her. I watched the ceiling, counted breaths, measured how far gone I was. When I finally opened the envelope, my hands were steady. The results were clear, clinical, uninterested in feelings. The truth didn't hurt. It clarified. I waited for the right moment. Sunday morning, quiet, sunlight pooling on the floor like something innocent had wandered in by mistake.
I placed the report between us on the table. Didn't slide it. Didn't explain. She saw the letterhead and froze. "What's this?" she asked. "A confirmation," I said. She read, slowly, her face drained of color line by line, like someone turning down a dimmer switch on a life. "No," she whispered, then louder. "No, that's not." I watched her break in real time, the hands shaking, the breath hitching, the sudden understanding that this wasn't a conversation. It was an autopsy.
"You knew," she said. "Yes." "How long?" "Long enough." She cried then. Quiet at first, then messy. Words tumbling over each other. Excuses, context, the same mistake, reframed from every angle, hoping one would soften the edges. I didn't interrupt. When she finished, I folded the paper once and set it aside. "I already filed the paperwork," I said. Her head snapped up. "For divorce," I added. Calm. Even. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. She wasn't wrong. I didn't yell, didn't threaten, didn't ask for details. That was the cruelty. I told her I had forwarded the evidence. To her parents. To his wife. To the version of the world that still believed in appearances. Not out of spite. Out of symmetry. A single mistake doesn't stay single when it's shared. She begged then. Not for forgiveness. For control. For time. For silence. I stood up. "I loved you," I said. Past tense. Precise. That broke her more than anything else. I walked to the door while she collapsed into the chair, the weight of consequence finally louder than desire. At the threshold, I paused. "You didn't lose me when you slept with him," I said. "You lost me when you assumed I'd never see you clearly again." I left without slamming the door. That was intentional too. The apartment is quiet now. Not empty. Clean. I sleep better. Eat slower. Think clearly. Sometimes I replay moments from our marriage, not with longing, but with analysis. I see the cracks I ignored, the kindness I extended where respect should have been demanded. I don't miss her. I miss the version of myself that believed trust was permanent. That man is gone. In his place is someone sharper, quieter, unavailable to manipulation. She texts sometimes. Long messages, short apologies, variations on regret. I don't block her. Silence is more effective when it's deliberate. The truth didn't destroy me. It organized me. And when I finally stop thinking about her altogether, that will be the last thing she ever loses to me.